Yesterday, in extraordinary scenes in the High Court in London, Prince Harry was accused of destroying evidence relevant to the case that he has brought versus the Sun newspaper. And at the same time, his lawyers admitted that they had now found two encrypted hard drives containing evidence that he had previously told the court had been destroyed. That is a bombshell development that could cast serious doubts on Prince Harry's credibility. But because the mainstream media have become so terrified of the Sussexes and the legal warfare that they are conducting against journalists and outlets that are critical of them, the media decided to buy into two very obvious Sussex PR stunts. This is Outspoken Dan. I'm going to take you through it all now because I always promise you, to bring you the real royal stories that the royal rota are just too afraid to cover. So I've got to talk first about this interview that Harry released yesterday with an absolutely wonderful woman who runs the Scotties Trust as a result of her husband's death, Corporal Lee Scott. And it's a really, really brilliant charity. But this interview was filmed weeks ago. However, it was only released yesterday. We know why. It was all part of a PR ploy to distract from what was going on in that courtroom. But the problem is that Harry, with that interview, has managed to infuriate his brother Prince William once more. Because he decided in the interview, where he was meant to be finding out from Lisa exactly what she had gone through and the grief that she experienced, Harry decided once more to break his solemn vow, his pact really, his brotherly pact with Prince William, agreed in 2017, not to continue to cash in and commercialize his relationship with his late mother, Princess Diana. But that's exactly what he did, which meant that all of the headlines in the mainstream media were once again about Princess Diana rather than about this brilliant charity. Once again, Prince William, quite rightly, was absolutely furious because the thing is, he looks at everything Harry has done now and he thinks, okay, this isn't a one-off. You are now working, you take your paycheck from Netflix, a company that decided to recreate my mother's death and even transported a replica mangled Mercedes that she died in from Elstree Studios in London to Paris. I mean, that's just wrong, isn't it? That's wrong, let alone the fact that his own brother is taking money from that company. He's included stories in Spare about contacting a spiritualist who told him that his mother believed that he was doing the right thing. I mean, he even told Oprah Winfrey, didn't he, that he thought the spirit of Diana was with him on the Megxit journey. Let me tell you, that ain't true. Because if the spirit of Diana had have been with Harry, she would have said to him, young man, go back to London and help look after your brother William like you promised me you would do as a child. And there was also that terrible story, wasn't there, in Spare, of Meghan Markle, a woman who won't even contact her own father, right, for his 80th birthday. But there she is at Diana's grave in Althorpe, on her hands and knees, kissing the stone. I mean, come on. Either he's been manipulated or we are, or actually probably we both are. But the point is, William quite rightly now believes that Harry has continually cashed in on the memory of Princess Diana, and that goes against the specific agreement that they made. Do you remember? It was in August 2017. They made two big documentaries for the BBC and ITV, and they spoke in detail about their mother's death, but the one guarantee was that that was it. After that, they were going to stay silent, they were going to honor her memory, but they weren't going to keep talking about the grief in intimate detail. But the thing is, Harry has realized that when the going gets tough, all he has now is what I have described as grief porn. So that was the first PR stunt yesterday. The second was absolutely ridiculous. ESPN announcing that next month Harry is going to be awarded the Pat Tillman Award, which is meant to be given usually to someone behind the scenes who works in sport, an ordinary person who's done amazing things. So I think this was a really crass choice by ESPN, and I'm not surprised that Americans seem to be absolutely up in arms about it. But all of that distraction was for one reason and one reason only. Harry wanted to pretend that what was going on in the High Court was not incredibly significant. But I believe it was. Justice Fancourt was dumbfounded by the fact that Harry's lawyer, David Sherborne, admitted that all of the messages between Harry and his ghostwriter of Spare, which apparently had been conducted on Signal, had been deleted, even though they are completely relevant to this particular court case. But that's not all. Harry had made it incredibly difficult to search a number of private email accounts over the years, and the judge effectively ordered him and ordered his legal team to go and do proper disclosure. And it was very, very obvious looking at the judge's comments that he was not impressed. And there's a sense, I've got to be careful with what I say, but there's a sense of cover up in the air, because there was a lot of doubts about the location of these two encrypted hard drives that had been returned to Harry and that are believed to contain really important evidence to the case. And the lawyer, the KC, operating on behalf of News Group Newspapers, the publisher of The Sun, and that's what this case is about, by the way, historic phone hacking allegations Prince Harry has made against The Sun. And the lawyer said, Harry is making this so difficult for us to try and get this information, which is absolutely critical to the case. And Harry's lawyers had said that these two hard drives had disappeared. And then literally yesterday morning, just before they go into court, all of a sudden the lawyer has to do a total 180 and say, oh, no, actually, both of the hard drives have been found. One of them is in Prince Harry's mansion in Montecito. The other is in his attorney's office in the US. So something about this stinks. I think Justice Fancourt is starting to realize that Harry, who is engaging in this legal warfare, wants to have one rule for the media outlets that he's going after and one rule for him. But look, he tried this on me, Harry. He tried to drag me into this legal warfare with complete lies, and I absolutely refused to back down. And I wouldn't have backed down because I knew that I had truth on my side and I wasn't going to be bullied by these incredibly aggressive legal tactics. So as I say, Harry may have thought that he won the PR game yesterday, but I know that you are smart enough to know that actually there's a much bigger story here. I'm going to stay on it, and I know that you will too.